In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to do some contour cutting. But before you do any contour cutting, the first thing to do is to make sure your vinyl cutter is actually calibrated correctly. You do that by clicking on this vinyl spooler here and bringing that up. And you come here to calibration. Now you can set the laser offset here by clicking here and following through these instructions. And if you want to do it really accurately, you use this tool here, which is more accurate. And you follow this through. Now there's lessons on this, you can watch those, but it's really important that you get your laser offset correct. Also your cutter scale may also need to be adjusted. That's quite possible. Sometimes cutters, they don't cut quite as accurately as they should, and this is where you fix that. Okay, so once you've done that, that's fine. You come back to a job like this, just a simple piece of artwork. I'm not going to get anything too complicated here for you, just make it nice and simple. So I want to contour cut this artwork. I'm going to print it out on some sort of a printer, and then I'm going to come along and cut it out. Now, whether that's on, a particular vinyl or whatever the media is, that's fine. And whether you use a desktop printer or a large format printer, whether you want to use a separate rip, any of those things can all be handled using the software. The first thing you need to do is create the contour cut line. So we simply select the object here, come to this this drop down box, and we click Create Cut Contour. And you can immediately see it's created a contour cut line around this. Now we may prefer a box around it, so we can check this here, build boxes or build contours. The contours allow me to adjust how far I want that to offset, like so. So for this particular example, that's fine. I click Accept. So now I've got a contour cut line. So I select my object and I come up to this button and I now click on Contour Cut Wizard and click on that. And the Contour Cut Wizard loads up, as you can see here. And I get some options. I can change my cutter if I need to. I can use these manual marks, or I can use ultra marks. Ultra marks are very accurate, but they do take longer to do. In this particular example, we'll just work with the manual marks. Now you can see here there's some holes here or some gaps, so if I click on advanced options, you can see all the advanced options come up. You often don't need those advanced options. I'll check them off for now. Okay, what you have to decide now is, what are you going to do with this? Are you going to print it out onto your desktop printer? If so, size becomes an issue. If you're going to send this to a large format printer, it depends whether you've got the machine there or with you, or whether you're going to give it to a friend or a service bureau or whatever it happens to be. So you've got some options. If you check Print Direct here, I can select my printer here and its properties, etc. And you can see this fits in because the size of the artwork happens to fit on this page here. Okay, that's fine. If I wanted to do multiple copies of this and send it to a large format printer, what I might do is print it as a PDF file. I can come down to tiled copies here, and I can do multiple copies of this project or this artwork, as you can see. And I can actually either print it as PDF directly right now, or I can save it as PDF. I have this option. Save PDF is ideal if you're going to give the artwork to somebody with a large format printer who's got a rip, who's going to rip this out for you. That's fine. You can save the PDF and either email it to them or put it on a USB stick, whatever you need to do. Get the artwork off to them and they can print it out for you. And as you can see here, I can see the cut only section, which is these circles. I can view the print only, or I can view both. Okay. I can actually set the mark position. I can set like the job name. I can do all those sorts of things. For now, what we're interested in is what's the next stage here. Okay, so in this example, we'll click Save PDF. And we'll give it that name, No Smoking is fine. So click Save, and it creates a PDF file. And you can see here, what I have is I have the print job with the marks, as you can see here. Now what that means is that this needs to go and get printed. So we go and print this artwork, whether it's on a desktop printer or a large format printer, really doesn't matter. We get it printed and we load it back into our vinyl cutter. So just minimize that. Okay, so we've done that. The next stage is to obviously cut it. So we've got our artwork loaded into our vinyl cutter. We click Cut. Okay, we get the Align Cut File wizard come up. Now what we must do is make sure that how we've loaded this print job, I'll just show you the print job, how we've loaded this into our vinyl cutter. You see, if I rotate this 270 or 180 or 90, that depends on how I've actually loaded into the machine. So what's really important is what you see here is what it looks like in the cutter. They must match. Okay, so that's important to know. Next thing you need to do is to get the laser pointer and get it over this mark here. Okay, so that's really, really important. If we check use offset, that means that the offset that we've calibrated will be used. Okay, so you need that checked on. You need to position your laser pointer over the crosshairs of this particular mark, and you need to press origin on the cutter. So the cutter's set to 0, 0 over this position. Okay, and the software will use the offset based on the calibration you've done earlier. You click next. Okay, and as it says, please position the cutter at the start point and reset the origin, as I've just said. Once you've done that, you click next, and it moves to the second mark up here. Now you can use these controls here to move your cutter or the laser pointer over this mark. Okay, you've got options like use keyboard, and depending on your cutter you can do stepper correction, and you can change these settings here so that when you click on these buttons, it will actually affect how much the actual laser pointer moves. Okay, so it's really important that you realize that if you're on ultrafine, it's only going to move a very, very small amount when you click these buttons. Okay, so depending on where the machines move to, you might need to use large to get into the right position, and then step it down until you get into ultrafine. Make sure you use a magnifying glass. Wear eye protection, don't get the laser in your eye, be careful of that. But you can magnify in and actually make sure the laser pointer is sitting over the crosshairs. Okay, and then you click next, and it goes to the next mark. You do the same thing all over again. Next, next mark, do the same thing all over again. Click next. Okay, and you can double check your alignment. So when you click cut now, it'll go off and cut it for you. Simple as that. And you can recut it, and that's basically the job done. That's all you have to do. You click done, and you print, and you've cut the job out like that. So it's pretty simple. Contour cutting is pretty simple, but make sure you calibrate your cutter before you go off and start doing contour cutting, because otherwise it won't match up and it won't be accurate. That's the end of this lesson. Thank you.